Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, the Immigrant Doctor. America is a nation of immigrants, but that idealistic view of who we are as a big bucket of people all in the same slop stops at the feet of the Statue of Liberty and is willfully begrudged by the quaint notion of Ellis Island in history. We are unfortunately right now a nation of other haters, where we only want to protect what we have, and we do not want to share what we might ultimately lose, like national identity, self-worth, value against integrity, and the theory that we alone own our own freedoms and the art of democracy. But the United States has always been a mishmash of peoples. The Pilgrim, the English, they came and pushed out the Native Americans, and we grew our world influence and our intellectual power by offering safe haven to others who were fearful in their home countries. And so America, by default and perhaps by design, became a power in the world by offering protection for the weak and the fearful. But when we become just as lowly as our oppressors, then we have failed in our moral duty as a united country to welcome all and to enhance our power with additional blood and thoughts and spirit. Over the weekend, I read a fine piece by Lev Golinkin in the Washington Post, titled, "My Mother is Vetted Every Day of Her Life," and I want to share just a bit of it with you now. We know a handful of ex-Soviet refugees with medical degrees who managed to remain doctors once they came to the United States. Most didn't. Mom was pushing 50, had no money, and couldn't speak the language. At first, she tried to become a nurse, then a nursing aide, then an EKG technician. You become a refugee because something has gone terribly wrong, because your life reached a point where your best option meant abandoning your goals, roots, identity, and the graves of your forefathers, and placing yourself at the mercy of strangers. For many, menial labor and humiliation are the price of admission to America. You scrub, you drive, you dream that your children will do better, and you try not to think of the past. My one wish is for Americans to appreciate the degree to which my mom and the millions of other stuttering, thick-accented immigrants in menial jobs have already been vetted and continue to be vetted every day. They've been stripped of their personalities, skills, jokes, opinions, dignity, and dreams by the language barrier. They've been questioned about who they are and what they're doing in this country by police, store clerks, employers, customers, and the ghosts of their past. Now that is some magnificent writing, powerful, simple, effective. And that article made me think of the immigrant doctors I know and love and respect, and who have put their fingers in my mouth and stuck their hands around other parts of my body, all in order to help guarantee me an ongoing wellness. There was a famous Broadway theater agent, powerful, who was a doctor in Russia before World War II. He escaped persecution during the war because he was a Jew, and he settled in New York City and began writing and doing menial jobs, and he ultimately became an excellent theatrical agent in New York City. He was beloved on Broadway, off-Broadway, and beyond, because he cared about people, and he made things happen just because he wanted them to happen. This doctor turned agent was famous for two things. First, bundling, using his powerful stable of clients to create a new project. Actors, director, writer, producer, putting them all together to create a something new together. The result was spectacular, and the whole process was quality controlled. The second thing he was famous for was this. If you were ill or not quite feeling well, you'd pop into his office, and he'd see you, examine you, and give you advice on how to feel better. He wasn't dispensing pills or writing prescriptions. He was just using his medical knowledge as a doctor in Russia to help make you feel better in America. So if you were sick or needed a second opinion, you went to see him. Not for drugs, but for advice that worked. That agent didn't have enough time or money to pass the medical boards in America when he arrived, but he found greater success as an agent. And being an agent didn't mean that he stopped caring about trying to help everyone feel better. You don't just stop being a doctor. You don't check your Hippocratic oath at the immigration interview. Now, I've had at least two excellent immigrant dentists. One was from India, and she was trained to do every sort of procedure in her home country because she was the only dentist for many, many rural miles around. She came to America for a better life, attended the NYU dental school, passed all her exams, and she now practices dentistry on the East Coast. Another outstanding dentist immigrated from Russia. He, too, attended NYU Dental in the USA, passed all his exams with flying colors, and is now a dental artist working expertly in America. These two dentists prove their excellence every day. And yes, their accents are sometimes a little thick, and yes, they sometimes have a problem understanding modern United States colloquial slang, but they'll ask you what you mean if they don't understand. It's not a big deal. And we need to remember that a tooth in New York City is a tooth in Bengaluru, is a tooth in Kiev. My heart doctor is also an immigrant from India. He is blunt and direct, and oftentimes appears to care more for his patients' welfare than they do for themselves. And that is a thankless, if vital, role of a doctor, to help all patients understand the connection between intention and result, behavior and efficacy, and potentiality into decline. My heart doctor may not have the easiest job, dealing with a wide march of people who are all slowly dying of heart disease. But sometimes the best effort is found in a patient's selfish propagation of one moment into a day, into a week. If you love life, you want extra time to live, and you want to steal just one more day from the golden reaper who always stands beside you and beyond you, waiting for that day. And you need good doctors on your side and fighting for your life and predicting what will happen before you know what hits you. And remember, one heart in Kolkata beats the same as a heart in Jersey City. All these doctors are fine examples of American exceptionalism. Doctors gave up their lives and their training and their hopes and the graves of their mothers and fathers. to come here, to America, to land in the land of amber waves of grain, to start a new life all over again, and to be retested and redefined in an expertise they had already mastered once. And their reward for their second effort was American citizenship and inclusion in a new nation, and carrying on the meme that to be an American is to believe in opportunity for everyone in the land of the free. However, there's an issue that goes beyond the immigrant doctor in America, a matter that touches the same nerves and sounds the same despairs and disappointments. The illiterate in America, who suffer from the same sort of daily vetting of their right to personhood. And they do not fit in. They do not understand. They cannot comprehend. And so, they pretend. They pretend they know. They pretend they understand while never being able to forget. Never being able to forget they can never be anyone or anything greater than their falsity. Because they can't pass a test or write a response or hope to find their way out of the morass of signs and indices that are textual and not semiotic. So if someone around you on the street, in your neighborhood, looks lost or confused, please find a way to see if you can help, without testing them or vetting them or embarrassing them. Just honor them and be there for them. And never humiliate them with a coarseness we should only reserve for our most deadly enemies. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.